Greetings, everybody. Right back at you here at Railroad Nail Boxing Talk. And like we say here at Railroad Nail Boxing Talk, we don't just praise fighters with pretty records. We praise all fighters who get in the ring and fight hard. You could be 47-1, 38-12, or 16-10. If you out there knocking sweat off somebody's head, making the crowd want to come see you again, then your light will shine here at Railroad Nail Boxing Talk. What's up, boxing fans? Frank Martin versus Shakur Stevenson. Let's talk about it. Now, we all done heard the rumors about Frank Martin supposedly ducking Shakur Stevenson. So I ain't got to go into what this show gonna be about. But when I first heard the news, I thought to myself, no. Frank Martin ain't ducking. It's got to be something in the contract, or it's got to be something he don't like. At least I don't feel that he's ducking Shakur Stevenson. I mean, when I say to myself, Frank Martin ducking, I don't feel like I really believe that in my gut. I don't believe he ducking. I don't believe Shakur Stevenson possessed such a fear that Frank Martin won't fight him. I feel like it may be something in the contract. But I've been waiting, and we've been waiting to see what's going to happen in the whole boxing world. And we still waiting. But Shakur Stevenson is insinuating Frank duck. There's something about that just don't sit right. If Frank Martin is a duck, then Shakur Stevenson is a duck. If Shakur Stevenson can come out and call Frank Martin a duck, then he has to call himself a duck. Because he was just in a situation with Devin Haney where he disagreed with the terms of the contract. He felt like he was worth more. And here's why I have a problem with Shakur Stevenson saying Frank Martin is ducking. How can you call a man a duck for doing the same thing you just did? How can you call Frank Martin a duck for disagreeing with a contract when you didn't take a fight because you disagreed with a contract? And why didn't you show Frank Martin the same respect that they showed you when you disagreed with the contract? No, let Shakur Stevenson tell it. Frank ducking. That's why I feel off when I hear the duck talk or the don't nobody want to fight me talk from Shakur Stevenson. He says he's the best in the game and it's hard for him to find fights. Everybody ducking. And he put pressure on fighters, according to him. And he was in the ring after Devin Haney fought Lomachenko. Fight me. That's what he told Devin. But you got to remember, Tank fought Ryan Garcia, and he wasn't in the ring. He wasn't chasing Tank like that. Wasn't sending no contracts. But you the best in the game. But long before Shakur Stevenson fought Yoshino, Edwin De Los Santos was calling him out. Right after he beat Valenzuela. I ain't seen him send De Los Santos no contract. De Los Santos ain't even got a contract to complain about. But you the best in the game and don't nobody want to fight you. I know two guys that said they will fight you in a minute. That's Jermaine Ortiz and Edwin De Los Santos. Stop capping, man. I have a problem with the words that's coming out his mouth. Now, I'm not saying that these guys would beat Shakur Stevenson. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if he's stating no one wants to fight him, I beg to differ. Because I've heard two fighters say they're willing to fight him at any time. And it's been over a year now since they said it. So I'm not going to say Frank Martin is ducking according to Shakur Stevenson. I'm not going to say that. Like his talent. Very talented. Want to see him fight, but if he come out and say you ducking, I'm going to have to hear some more stuff first. I ain't going to take his word for it. You got to remember, this the same guy that came out and said he think Tyson Fury can beat Ali in his prime. I mean, he done skipped a whole plethora of heavyweights and went right to the top, to the greatest. And yeah, I'm a fanboy of the greatest. And I take that personally. Because I feel like he don't believe that. If I thought he believed it, I'd be all right with it. But he ain't gave no logical explanation for it. He just put the great down and said he think Tyson Fury, a man who can't even keep himself in shape outside the ring, can beat one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest, Muhammad Ali. Oh, I can see Ali rolling in his grave on that one. We heard that. I can see Ali in heaven talking to the creator about a comeback. Talking about coming back down here and shaking up the world again. I want to shake up the world. One more time, let me go show him. I can just see it. Fact is, I don't even believe Tyson Fury believed that. He probably was looking at Shakur crazy, like, what? I can picture me standing on a street corner in a crowd of guys, and one of the guys saying that and not having valuable facts to back it up. I can imagine how I would look at that guy and say, man, I wouldn't trust nothing this guy say, because I don't believe he believed that. And I would have to check to see if he believed anything else that came out of his mouth before I took his word to be his word. Because he stated something so out of place that he drew my attention. So, hey, I just can't trust what he say because I don't believe he believed that. And I've always held that against him, saying, do he really believe what he say? And here it comes up again. He can't even show Frank Martin the same respect that he was given when he disagreed with a contract. However, I still think he's a great fighter, and I wouldn't bet my money against him in a Frank Martin fight. I do feel like Frank Martin is good enough to make him look like a regular fighter in a close decision, though. But yeah, he's good, and I like to see that fight. I would love to see that fight, but now I got to question all the other people that they said ducked him. What kind of contract did he send Pitbull Cruz? Because yeah, they had me putting Pitbull Cruz on the duck list. I'm going to have to take Pitbull off that duck list. I don't know what kind of contract he sent Pitbull Cruz. I don't know what kind of contract he sent William Taylor. Can't trust what he say. Can't trust what he say. We don't know. He's not going to tell you why they turned down the fight. He'll tell you they ducked. But he doing the same thing. Disagreeing with contracts. He doing the same thing. So yeah, y'all can run with it if y'all want to. But I'm not going to call Frank Martin a duck unless I call Shakur Stevenson a duck too. However, apart from Shakur Stevenson, we got to deal with Frank Martin and his own words. Frank got some words that he spoke that he got to attest to, because he is on record saying he feel like Shakur Stevenson should have took less money for the bigger picture. He disagreed with Shakur Stevenson's decision to disagree with the contract with Devin Haney by taking less than 50-50. Now, the situation comes around to Frank Martin. And Frank Martin has denied a contract supposedly under the same conditions. We ain't heard nothing from Frank, but that's why we here to deal with what Frank's side is. The silence, the not coming out saying nothing, and how he respects his fans, and how do you view the way your fans view you if you're just going to ignore your fans? I mean, why even fight for fans if you don't care what they think about you? And if they're led to think the worst, then we feel like, Frank, you should come out and defend yourself. You have to defend yourself against these allegations, because we may be defending something that's not what you feel. You got to say something, Frank. I mean, I'm upholding you like I know you or something, but I can't do that if you ain't upholding yourself. I can't speak out for you if you ain't speaking out for yourself, because I want to say Frank Martin ain't ducking. I just don't feel like that when I say that. Something don't register there to me. Why Frank Martin would just turn down a fight with Shakur Stevenson, admitting that he would take less money to get that title if he had the opportunity. Something ain't right. Unless Frank just ain't who he say he is. I just don't see it, but Frank, you gonna prove me wrong. If I'm trying to believe in you, it's you that's gonna prove me wrong. It's you, man. Silence is not the best way to be right now, Frank, because it's people that's believing you that's falling off, Frank. I mean, we don't want to see you come out and fight somebody regular, man. It ain't gonna work, Frank. That is not gonna work. Don't nobody want to see that. And Frank, I guess you living up to the name you gave us, man, the Ghost. Because we sure enough can't see you. We ain't seen you in no interviews, no selfies, nowhere on social media, nothing. So I guess you the Ghost. Can't blame you because that's your name. You can't ghost your fans, man. That ain't gonna work. You can't come back and fight a subpar fighter unless you say, hey, I really wasn't ready. I was capping, or my team ain't ready. You got to explain something, Frank. Because I don't want to see you come out and fight somebody regular now. Who want to see that? We don't want to see that, Frank. We want to see you come out, man. You got to say something, man. Or they going to say you capping. That's what the youngsters call it nowadays, capping. But back in the days, we used to call it wolf ticket. We'll tell you got them wolf tickets on sale for $2.99 at a good price. Too good to be true price. So I don't know if you're selling wolf tickets or capping. I don't know. But your silence gonna say that. And that's how we see it here at Railroad Nail Boxing Talk. I don't like to keep it too long because you don't know me that well, but you will. And like we say here at Railroad Nail Boxing Talk, we don't just praise fighters with pretty records. We praise all fighters who get in the ring and fight hard. You could be 10-0, 37-1, or 18-10. If you out there knocking sweat off somebody's head, making the crowd want to come see you again, then your light will shine here at Railroad Nail Boxing.